What's going on, you guys? This is the third attempt I'm trying to do this. I know some of you guys are big Windows fans, so I'm not going to harp on Windows too much, but it really bothers me when you hook up your Bluetooth headset, turn on the application, OBS, and it doesn't pick it up. So you have to go over here and click this, and that will turn on the driver. Like weird little stuff like that that I don't have a problem on Mac or Linux. Anyway, let's play some Grand Tactician Civil War. While this loads, I was thinking about picking up this game right here, Fire and Maneuver. We were talking about it the other day. It's $1.99, and the expansion pack for the Civil War is free. So I'm thinking this might be kind of cool to play, to kind of compare. I can tell you graphics-wise, Grand Tactician wins out. Yeah, this seems very more casual. Honestly, it feels more like Strategic Command, American Civil War, Grand Tactician Civil War, and then that game, Fire and Maneuver, is right in the middle. Like a hybrid of a hybrid kind of thing. Anyway, I'm going to play a little bit today. I'm literally exhausted. I had a non-profit work meeting kind of thing, so I have to pay one of my staff members from the non-profits. We're trying to get stuff from World War I, World War II film archives of State Guard digitized because film doesn't do good just sitting and just in essence rotting. So we're trying to do that, and I'm talking with another organization to see about changing one military policy that's affecting State Guard. So we're looking at modifying that, see how that turns out. Very hopeful, though. I'm very hopeful from the emails that I've gotten, so which is really good. And if you guys don't know what my nonprofit is, it's let me open up a new one here, a new Brave window. There we go. So it's basically StateDefenseForce.com, which technically is also known by the official name is State Guard and Defense Force Council, also known as StateDefenseForce.com. In essence, it's the National Guard Reserve, and you can find out a lot. I got this working, by the way. I found out what JavaScript issue was causing this. So you can go here and see what. So you got like right here, active duty forces, right? You have Air Force, Coast Guard, Space Force now. U.S. Military Reserve. You have the Army Reserve, but the Army National Guard is also U.S. Army Reserve. It's a little different than the regular reserve because it's a combat-oriented reserve force. Army Reserve doesn't have tanks. They don't have tanks. They don't have special forces. They don't have infantry. Nothing. Army National Guard does. Naval Reserve, Marine Reserve. I don't know too much about how they function. Like I don't know if the Marine Reserve have infantry or they're just support units. Because in the Army they're just support units. Same thing with the Air Force. I don't think there are. I think they do have some planes in the Air Force Reserve. I know the Air National Guard has actual like F-18s, fighters, bombers, kind of things. And then you have civilian reserve forces. Now, if you join the Coast Guard Auxiliary, you are technically part of the Coast Guard, but you're a civilian. So you'll wear a Coast Guard uniform, but it'll say Auxiliary. Civil Air Patrol, you don't hear them too often. They do wear Air Force-like uniforms, but they're usually for like search and rescue. They do light stuff. And then you have state military forces. Each state has their own kind of, and you probably hear this a lot in the news, a state militia, right, or state military, and that's what they're referring to. There are three technically, right? I'm sorry, four technically. So the main one, which you see, and everybody knows when you say National Guard, you're thinking of Army National Guard that are walking the streets, going to and from drill or performing a mission or what have you. So that's them. By default, they are a state military force. They're only activated by order of the president, and then when they are activated by the president, they become a U.S. military reserve, basically the same as U.S. Army active duty, in essence. When they are state military force, they are considered state militia. And then you have another thing called the naval militia, which are, you'll see them in New York, you'll see them in around Ohio, the lake around Ohio, you'll see them maybe on the West Coast, and basically it's, you'll see boats that might have the 50 cal on the top, and you'll see people that are in Marine or Navy uniforms. It's basically Navy, Marine, Reserve personnel that are volunteering to do an additional 1 week in a month. Of course, their reserve duties for the military take priority, but if they're not doing that, they could do the naval militia. And 90%, from last I heard, at least in New York, are U.S. U.S. Navy Reserve, U.S. Marine Corps Reserve. Now, you probably noticed this one right here, State Defense Forces. They're also known as State Guard. They're also known as Guard Reserve. They're also known as Governor's Guards. They're also known as Georgia State Defense Force. The reason they exist is because in World War I, the National Guard got deployed out. There was no military from coast to coast. They were deploying everybody. So every state was like, whoa, 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 hold on. You can't just leave us without a military. We need people to, handle, disaster response, back up the police if there are riots, if there is some unforeseen thing that happens, another nation declares war, whatever. We need somebody in the state, and also to assume the duties and responsibilities that the National Guard normally does. So they created the State Guard in 1917. And they've been pretty much on active duty, on and off, through World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War, War on Terror. Not every state has a state defense force, and I'll do my own special video on that because I run the site for them. I am not in the State Guard. I used to be. I did the National Guard Surf P team, which it's not a surf, like that. It's in essence chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear warfare. And in the National Guard Surf P team, we had Army National Guard, Air National Guard, and State Guard. So it was like 50-50. I couldn't stay in the National Guard or the Marines. I have health issues. I had really bad health issues back then. It's better now. I could do a run now. Yeah, I could do a run now. I can function much better now. Before, I used to have problems walking. It's a long thing. Anyway, so obviously U.S. military wants you top, physical, medical, all that stuff. State Guard, they can waiver you. So if you ever wanted to serve in U.S. Army or active duty or military and you couldn't because of what do you call it? Let's say you just couldn't because of ASVAB scores. You have a job obligation, family obligation. You didn't get the job that you wanted in the military. You can do the state defense forces and augment the National Guard. So, good example is the 101st, or let's say the Triple Deuce Chemical Company says, hey, we need these 15 trucks to go to Fort Drum. And nobody wants to do it. A lot of state guard members are like, hey, I'll do it. You're not going to get paid for it. Yeah, I'll do it. And so the National Guard's like, okay, we just saved ourselves a lot of money because we have to have 2 per truck. So that's 30 troops didn't have to pay for that day. They just had to pay for the transportation back. So it saves them a lot of money. When I went from also, I just want to give you a heads up. I do have my chat here. It's probably not going to be a long stream, just to give you a heads up. I'm exhausted. Just there was so much stuff. The dental appointment, this, that. I got to edit a podcast tonight for actually to talk about my Surf P experience. If you guys don't, if you want a little bit more knowledge about what I did, and I'm this is my old this is State Guard. So you'll notice this is an old picture. So they have the actual uniform as the Army, but the patch will be different. Sometimes they'll have different covers. So instead of ACU covers, they have black covers. But in essence, so you'll also notice it'll say Surf P or New York Guard here. You get into these suits. Well, before you do the suits, you set up all this. These are each one's like 100 to 200 pounds, and Surf is only activated for 9/11 type things. So if there was a dirty bomb, if there was a chemical explosion, if there was a radiological dirty bomb, Ebola outbreak, anything. They were used for the COVID thing. They actually went into hospitals to teach doctors on how to deal with viruses and pandemics. Because a lot of doctors didn't know how to do things. And it was funny because I wasn't in Surf P at the time, but I was working at a senior citizens home in Virginia Beach or Norfolk, whatever. And they had doctors, nurses there, and I knew a lot about viruses from Surf P. Great. The Army is a great trainer. I love the Army. So I knew how viruses worked. And when the senior citizens home did things like, I'll never forget, like, they're like, hey, they're allowing families to visit, their grandmother or grandfather. I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. I was doing IT at the time, so I said, hey, just to give you a heads up, I used to do Surf P, so I don't know if the doctors and nurses wanted one on the COVID board, because they had a COVID board, I can give you my experiences. I can tell you what or how to do things. You don't need to use pledge or ammonia or chlorine on everything. And they're like, oh, you don't? I was like, no, just get UV light, shine it for about, I would do 15, 30 seconds, maybe a full minute. Every crevice, it will break down the genetic structure of the virus. But they don't listen. They were like, no, we're good. The doctors were like, no, we're good. I'm like, you sure? Yeah. So they would do things like, they would bring the family in, then they would bring the grandmother or grandfather in. and they would be between where I am and the webcam, and they would put like plastic from maybe about here to maybe not the floor, but like right around here. So, them thinking the virus doesn't, go to the family because there's plastic in between. And I was like, you do realize that this is very dangerous. What are you doing? And they're like, how? And I'm like, well, when you speak, there's water droplets that stay in the air. They literally live in the air, they're circling like that, right? And they're not going to be stopped by a plastic sheet. They'll go around and eventually go that way. And then the way they have it is like they'll have the grandparent leave and, have the, parents or whatever family leave afterward. But them going around this way, exiting the room, and then bringing in the next set, it's like you do realize you didn't even sterilize the air. And then we had COVID. People were catching COVID, and they were wondering why. And I'm like, can I help you guys? And they were like, no. I'm like, okay. And I was like literally to the point where I was thinking of like seriously considering contacted like the Department of Health, because I felt like the doctors there didn't understand. Like they did not understand. Like, guys, you're wondering why these elderly people are getting COVID, and you're not figuring it out why. And I'm telling you why. I did this for like 8 years. My Surf P team was in hospitals teaching doctors, you don't do it this way. No, you don't do it that way. Like, I was actually kind of surprised by that, because I would have thought that doctors and nurses would understand, like, if a pandemic happens, this is how you react. This is how you quarantine. They had, like, from what I was reading on the news and from what I saw doing IT in this senior citizens home, no idea. They had no clue. And that was scary. And them not even wanting my feedback. I was like, dude, I am willing to offer it for free, right? Like, and they were like, no, we're good, thank you. I'm like, okay, all right, no problem. I'll just, it's okay. And like, they were like, they want you to do a COVID test. I was doing IT, and they want you to do a COVID test every week, right? And, with the big swab, right? And I was like, I don't know about that. And they were like, why? I was like, you have to do a COVID test. I was like, yeah, I know, but you're piling every employee in one confined location to do a COVID test. They're like, yeah, and I'm like, if one person has COVID, and then you have 30 to 40 people around them, they're going to transmit the virus to others. But the test will catch it. The test won't catch it if they get it right away, kind of thing. Like, you have to, oh my gosh. And they still fought me. They were, like, fighting me left and right. And I was like, all right, whatever. I was like, I'm trying to help you guys, but, like, you're catching COVID outbreaks here, and you're like, we don't know why this is happening. And I'm like, dude, I'm telling you why it's happening. I just feel like they thought they knew better. I mean, and I see that in like every field, like even in IT, right? Like, I think I mentioned in a previous podcast, I don't know why this town. Oh crap! They're almost out of food. Why is this railroad broken? I see this right here torn up. Does this mean that it's broken? All right, let's do that. But I even seen in IT, like working for numerous IT companies, where I think I said in a previous podcast where somebody would call in, right? I'm the CEO of the law firm. I'm like, oh, okay. And I ask like my trainer or the person, I'm new to the company. I'm like, what's the protocol what's your security procedures? Oh, just change the password, give it to them. We don't ask them like validation question, duo, anything. No. Just give them a new password. I'm like, but what happens when like somebody calls in to the company, and they're not the CEO, and we just gave them the password, and they say, hey, I also forgot my email address. Yeah, well, that's just the way it is. I'm like, okay, okay. They're like that. That's the way the client, wants it. And I run my own IT company. So I run ThinkByte Studio, which is actually going to be publishing my PC game. So this is going to be the studio behind everything. If you're a company, if you're a CEO, and you tell me, hey, I'm the CEO, when I call you and I tell you I want my password changed, and I don't want to answer any security questions, I'm like, I'll cancel a contract. And they're like, you don't understand. I'm telling you're servicing me. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I'm not going to be responsible for the destruction of your company and you going to court or jail or whatever because somebody that sounds like you or one of my employees or whatever, right? You call them, they don't know your voice, they don't know who you are, and you tell them just to give you a password, and now some hacker has full access to all these legal documents, medical no. And if you have a problem with that, go to another company and they'll happily take your money, not say a word, because I've worked for MSPs that say, okay, yeah, whatever you want. But yeah, I'm not gonna sell out my belief in what's right and what's wrong in essence, for that. Like if you want to do that, I'm like, oh shoot. What? Where? Oh man, I didn't even know I had a. Oh, the Savannah Squadron was destroyed. Okay, good. So that means I won. Dang, I wish I could pick up that paper again. How many ships did I sink with that one? Dang it. Too bad you can't go back and check out the how do I get to this fleet? Ooh, check this out, Frontline. Oh, that's cool. Check that out. I never did that before. Oh, that's cool. I like that. I'm keeping that on. Oh, that is very cool. Oh, that's sick, man. I am definitely leaving that on. This is cool. So they have access to this. Nice. This is very cool. Stock in this game just keeps going up, guys. But yeah, I mean, I am definitely not doing things like that where you're like, well, we don't need, if you come up to me and you, had this one, guy who wanted me to run 5 offices, change out their entire voice over internet protocol system, their phone system. Um, it was man, but yeah, so yeah, I'm one of those guys that I like. Yeah, I'm not dealing with that. Like if you want to jeopardize your company, risk going to jail because you don't want to deal with validating your identity to get a new password because you forgot your password or forgot to reset it. Yeah, you can find another MSP. There's tons out there, but yeah, I'm not doing that. And sometimes I get really, really scared. I run into like companies. I think some were medical companies that I worked for MSPs that like ran Windows 2008. Windows 2008 is obsolete. So, like in this age of like hacking and all this stuff that's going on, you got to be on the cutting edge. You got to be like, like there are 0-day hacks that come out, right? That are, and if you guys don't know what 0-day hacks are, it's like somebody finds a way, a hacker finds a way into a system, and it gets exploited quickly. And you have white hackers who eventually discover it and like push it out there saying, hey, by the way, this is out there, we need to fix this. So you need to be on the cutting edge. You cannot be running old software, old servers, I'm not going to mention, but, one of my buddies, his employer is running like an ancient version, I think, of apps or even Ubuntu, like things like that. You can't do that, right? And a good example of this is years ago. This was like maybe 5 or 10 years ago, and there's probably newer ones, but Sony did not update something on their server. I think they were using an old version of the server that had a vulnerability. I'm trying to remember exactly, but I believe that's what happened. They was running an old version of the server. They didn't want to update the server, whatever it was. The hacker was like, I know the vulnerability for this. It was patched, but Sony didn't update it because they just didn't want to update it. So the hacker got into Sony, got everything. I don't know if you remember, it was on the news. They got everything. They got games that were unfinished. People were like showing modeled assets, I think, of games. I think they were showing movies that were like not finished yet, like 20 minutes of this scene, redos of takes, scripts of movies that were approved, not approved, and I was like, all because you didn't want to update. Like, and for a movie studio, it is what it is. You don't want to, that's fine, I guess, but if you're going down to the medical, right? If you're going to medical, you're dealing with medical stuff. Things get very scary at that point. Because imagine having my medical stuff leaked, on the what do you call it, on the dark web, right? I mean, I don't think employers can. What the heck is going on? I don't think employers can. And employers can get this information from the dark web, or they'll sell it to companies that sell your data. But I don't think companies can. I'm actually was gonna say I don't think companies can not hire you for having a medical or whatever. But I'm wrong on that, and the reason I'm wrong on that is because I went to work for a company, and I think I'm not going to name the company because, yeah, I think it's that company. But when I was interviewing for that IT position, let's go to Richmond. I don't know why I can't get supplies, but whatever. It must be some kind of bug. But I was applying for a job, and on the resume it had, my military, went in, New York National Guard Surf P team, Alpha instructor, things like that. And she was like, are you in the National Guard now? And I'm like, no. I left in 2012, I don't know, somewhere around that time frame. I don't know, whenever it was, or maybe even before. I think before. I don't know, whatever. But anyway, she was just like, oh, okay, I just wanted to make sure, because if you were in the National Guard, I would probably, I wouldn't have hired you. And I was like, oh. I was like, really? She was like, yeah. She was like, you guys going on deployments, getting activated all the time. She was like, it creates like a nightmare for us. By the way, what she was saying was actually illegal, and she was not supposed to tell me. I don't know if she knew she was not supposed to tell me that, because there's something called the ESRAA or whatever. I remember one of my National Guard recruiters told me something, and they were like, they're not allowed to, say stuff like that to you. They can get into legal trouble. I remember one of my National Guard recruiters told me that. I was like, yeah, I know, but let me see. But I'm pretty sure if a company has information on you, right, from like AI or a package they bought off a data broker, like one thing that's really interesting, you guys might want to know this, is that so a lot of the records online, so like let's say one of your friends does, who should I pick? No, I'm not gonna, no. I don't know. Oh, okay, I'll pick her. All right, so let's say you know somebody that it was a trespassing, yeah. So let's say you know somebody that had a trespassing charge on them, right? And it got on their record. And let's say theoretically they were able to clean their record out, or a certain amount of years went past, right? So if you do a criminal background check now, it wouldn't pop up. But there are data collectors, web crawlers out there all the time checking databases all the time. So between the day that she got arrested and the date, which I think it was like a month or two later, she had to go to court, right? That case was in the system. So a web crawler can easily go in there, grab it, right? And then when she goes for a corrections job, no matter if it's been 7 years and, it gets wiped out, if that company subscribes to a data broker's, service, they'll be like, oh yeah, in this year you did trespassing, and they're gonna be like, I thought 7 years that's supposed to go away. But yeah, it goes away in the system. It doesn't go away from the data brokers. I want one that I can carry more supplies with. No. No, come on. Oh, I like marching faster. Maximum supplies. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. All right. Let's kick the crap out of the Rebs that are just chilling here. I know it's going to be a pain in the neck because they're going to have to march across land. I wonder it's because they have Plymouth. That's why this is all red. If I take Plymouth, I think that'll probably go away. And I already have this part. So I have parts of West Virginia. Look how much of Richmond, Virginia I have. I don't even know where the Confederate capital is anymore. Is it Macon? Did it go back to Montgomery? Let's find out. I don't think they tell you. Win a major battle, yes, yes. Capture Richmond, Virginia. Break Confederate morale. They're at 51%. What, 49? Capture 10 forts. Capture West Virginia. West Virginia is that important? I don't know. Whatever. I need money, people. I need money. Dang, man, these ships are in bad shape. I can't build anymore. Union's getting broke, boys. Thomas won 23,000 men against. It's not really 59,000. It's 24,000. So, like, what do I do here at this point? Like, honestly, like, the war, I think, is over, right? Like, there's no way the Confederacy is coming back from this. Right? Like, the amount of troops I have, where was it? I have 113,000. I have 107. They're actually closing the gap now that I'm thinking about it. Let me see if I can get Doubleday some troops. Oh, man, I'm so close to getting 1,500 is the minimum. Putting out all those recruiting offices did nothing. And then let me check out my policy, because I have a policy that's supposed to be due in 17 days. That's great. I'm going to take 17 days in the Civil War is forever. Jeez, what town do they have here that... It must be the zone of control of this. Should probably actually take those towns. Chicka, 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 chicka. Oh, I have a fleet here. 7 ships, 2 disabled. I am mother's uncle. You know, the Civil War had some amazing music. I need to watch the Ken Burns' The Civil War, because they actually play some of that music, and it's amazing. It's great. It's good. It's good stuff. Don't Wait for Me, Lucy, or something like that. Some kind of song like that was really good. Ooh. I have a unit that... Dang it. I mean, I'll at least upgrade these. Daggone, man. I need more rifled muskets. Oh, all of a sudden now I have all of this? I wonder why. No, now it doesn't say. You can tell there's bugs still in the game. Ships constructed and are available for duty. Ooh, wow, a lot of them. A lot, boys. And I'm going to put them in that fleet that didn't do so well. Is it this one? Block Island? Ooh, that fleet's in bad shape. Home Squadron is the one I just sent home, right? And they're not well. Flying Flotilla. Yeah, let's put them under here. Wait, where's the... Chicago Harbor. Hampton. I guess let's do New London. Build. Okay. So I just built a fleet with no ships in it. Daggone. It told me that there were ships ready, my friends. Oh. Alright, so I got 14,000 against 26,000. They're really going to engage me in battle? Seriously? Okay. Oh, man. To tell the truth, I just lost confidence in Joe Hooker. I think he said that at the Battle of Chancellorsville. And we are on the attack, so we got to get this objective. All right, cool. Oh, I already see some units not doing too well. The 4th Brigade is like not doing so well. Okay. I know the 1st Division's strong, right? These guys have muskets. Okay, not the 1st Division. I thought the 1st Division was... Oh, that's not good, man. Musket. Dude, I upgraded these guys. No way. I could have sworn that 3 out of these 4 divisions had rifled muskets. I could have sworn. Because I fought with them before. Like, I remember Abercrombie. But I remember there was only one division that didn't have you know what I'm saying? That didn't have rifles. I don't know. That's weird. Maybe it was a different army. I don't know. It's hard to keep control. You know, march as much as I tell you to march. March all day. Boy. So since we have bad weapons, what we're going to have to do to offset that is be a little bit, I'm not going to use the word mischievous, but we're going to have to flank really badly. So I'm going to have 2 divisions form up here, but the main column is going to come up here and do something like this. Hit them on the side. Or maybe come up this way and attack from the rear, and then sandwich. That's what I'm thinking. We shall see if it works. In fact, I am going to have you double time up there. But yeah, so it's interesting the way things are going. I was looking for jobs for help desk because my company's not bringing in as many clients as I knew it was not going to. I've talked to consulting people, and they said it's, you know, in IT the way it works is there are contracts. You got to develop relationships with companies, like emailing them back and forth. How's your kids? Blah blah blah. All this stuff. What is that that's moving on the side here? If that's a whole new army, I am in big trouble. But yeah, you have to develop relationships. So it takes a long time for your company to gain enough clients that you become self-sufficient. So, you know, I have to offset that with a full-time job, you know, until my company gets big enough. But, you know, it's it's tough because um I went on Indeed and I typed in help desk, right? And I put in help desk remote, and normally search like that would take, would be like, I would get like, I don't know, 4 or 5 pages, whatever, something like that. And I got one page, 3 listings. And I was like, no, let me click this again. That's wrong. No, let me click this again. That's wrong. 3 jobs in 3 days? And I was just like, whoa. Scary. Very, very scary. Um, you know, it is what it is. And I could tell companies are, because we have the shutdown going on. I could tell companies are like worried because of well, a good example is like day one of the whatever the political stuff that's going on. Um, I got terminated that day, same day. Uh, the company I was working for has, I think, half or maybe more are government contractors, and all the government contractors around here looking for jobs. I went on that what do you call it? Uh, there's an app that you communicate with your neighbors. I forgot what it's called. My wife recommended it to me. It's a popular one. I forgot the name of it. But like you have like shipped out worker, laid off, need job, will do anything, and I'm like, wow, okay. So there's a lot of competition right now. Um, um, yeah, and uh, I I found an IT job. It was a contract one, so like no benefits, no medical, dental, no vacation time, no sick time, no nothing, right? And it was gonna be like it was gonna be I'm not gonna. It was gonna be a certain amount, and literally like over the weekend, come Monday or was it Tuesday, the recruiter calls me back. He says, "Hey, yeah, so they were looking at it. They were looking at the finances and everything or whatever, and they decided to reduce the position rate by over $10,000." I was like, "Wow, okay." It's like, "Are you still interested?" I'm like, "Yeah," because at the time I was like, "Yeah, I'll see what else is out there, but yeah, for right now, because there's not a lot out there. There is not a lot out there. I even look on like Amazon, like they have a thing called Amazon Flex where you do deliveries with your car, and there's nothing. There is nothing. I was just like, wow, did my headset just go out? Okay, it must be low on battery. I just got a notification. So I'll probably end this in a couple of minutes. But yeah, that's just the way it is. It's politics have been going on for ever. So no, it's just the way it is. It's everybody says it's like, what do you call it? Everybody says it's like things are really really bad. They always say that. It like I'm a big historian, so like if you read, you know, back in the early days of the Republic, right? especially the campaign between Adams and Jefferson, you'll read some shocking things. What one was accusing of the other, like all this stuff that's going on is not new. I'm not like, the Federalists versus the Anti-Federalists. Today it's the Republicans versus the Democrats, and it's just the cycle. Different names, literally. Anti-Federalists, Federalists. Republicans, Democrats. It's just two different time periods, different technologies, And let me tell you something. The things that Adams and Jefferson were saying about one another's political parties are far worse than what's going on kind of today. Far worse. You should read the campaign of 1804? Was it 1804? Wait. One of those. But, yeah. This is not new. So when people are like, oh my gosh, they called this candidate this, they called this candidate that, and I'm like, guys, this is nothing new. Go read up on U.S. history, especially the early days. Alright, so I'm going to save this for the next video because I got to charge these. And it's already 11 o'clock. I don't have a charger with me either. And it's 1921 hours in the game. I need to get closer. Let's get up right here. Trying to see what I could do with the cavalry. Should I hit them on the side now? Probably. Trying to figure out what I can do. They're too light. They're 900 men. I'm thinking of using them to attack on the side, while this division attacks them from the rear. This way, this way it'll be heavy on them. They've already got skirmishers out. Oh, yeah, that is smart. Now the question is, did you guys build redoubts or anything? No, you didn't. AI did not do it. Let's go to 5x. I gotta remember, mental reminder. Watch Ken Burns' Civil War tonight. Then again, I do have to. Ooh, are they shooting at me already? Oh, I lost 2 guys. That was not cool, my friend. Lay down, boys. We're gonna fire on them. I'm gonna detach the artillery. I gotta make artillery corps or divisions, whatever. This whole thing of that I'm doing is not working. Just make sure you're covered there. I know, how bad. 2 guys still not. Wait, actually, no, that's 2 guys. Okay. Let's put the guns here. Dang, they are really. Oh, and those are some of my guns firing too. All right, I'm gonna put you guys forward a little bit. And I'm gonna detach you. So, ooh, it's Zook. I don't think Zook is supposed to be an artillery commander. Zook. That's right, Alex. Ooh, that's not good. Oh man, they're really ripping my boys apart. Oh man, two of my are, jeez, counter battery fire. Daggone, man. Them red guns can shoot. How about, where's the army commander? I lost a total of 14 men. You're 55 men already broken. Check that out. You're going to get replaced. Mediocre. You're dang right you're mediocre. Counter battery fire on those weapons! Now! End of day. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to end it here, guys. I got to edit a podcast. I got to do some admin work. I got to probably send out some emails for my nonprofit. And, yeah, I got to re-email some people, contact some senators tomorrow. Hopefully I can get in touch with them. You know, it's not easy getting in touch with the governor. It's not easy. You got to know people to get time with the governor. So I'm hoping to contact their office tomorrow and see if I can get some time for the phone call. But if you need somebody, IT-wise, or somebody that can get stuff done, let me know. You know, you can email me, you can call me, and I can help you with your Windows 10 stuff. This is the company that's also going to, yeah, I know, we made a lot of web pages. I've been doing HTML since the 90s. Yeah, I think approximately around there. Oh, well, combined, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you can put in your information here. We're in Ghent, Norfolk. So let me know if you need anything or somebody to get stuff done. I've been running my nonprofit, StateDefenseForce.com. Originally was known as HomeGuardArmory.com since 2004. I know the news stops at 2015. I think I started using WordPress in 2015 as CMS. So before that, it was old school internet kind of thing. A little bit, I think. I might have some old article I got to put back in. But this site is like 500 gigabytes, I think, around compressed, I think. I got to fix a few things like that. But, yeah. And then we just put this up today. And then we have publications here. And then this basically tells you just things like, you know, actually this tells you here, like, state defense forces are that. Federal, they're authorized by federal law 32 U.S. Code Section 109, which is maintenance of other troops. And this was added after World War II, I believe, because the states kept asking, we need to create a state guard in World War I. The National Guard came back, they deactivated the state guard. World War II came, and the state guard was like, hey, we need all the National Guards are going, we need a state guard. And then World War II ends, and then Korean War begins, and then the Congress was just like, all right, you can maintain the state guard permanently. Just stop bothering us, you know, kind of thing. So it was funny.
Ray Rockwood says, "Hey, bro, glad I caught you on. How's the job search going?"
It's going, not well. It's I went on Indeed to look for IT jobs, and all the stuff they're saying on YouTube for like how bad IT is, they're right. Um, it is really, really bad. The last two big companies I worked for that I thought I was going to be there for a long time. I worked for NTT. Our first client offshored their jobs to South Africa, Cyprus, and India, I think. Our second client, which is they were a defense contractor. They offshored their jobs to India and Turkey, I think. I don't know. One of those. I know it was India and somebody else. And then I went to Aclara, and Aclara bought out like 6 companies. They do medical billing. And then they got bought out by R1, whose whole IT was in India and the Philippines. So they really didn't. And then R1 got bought out by an investment firm. Yeah. Let's see if it's good now. I don't really apply for jobs in the Norfolk area. I need a security clearance. This, I might not need one. I might apply for this one today. Yeah, there's some out here. But a lot of them require security clearance, and it's really hard to get IT jobs here because you have a lot of Navy guys who already have security clearances, like, confidential, secret, top secret. And if I just come out of the Navy with a top secret security clearance and I apply for IT support, this is going to be around 40 to 48. This is like 40 up to 46,000. But it doesn't say anything about interesting. Usually jobs I see around here that I always look require security clearance, and I don't have one. I had one in the National Guard. I qualified, went through the process for secret, but that was like 10, 15 years ago. And if it's between you versus another guy that has a top secret security clearance, let me tell you something, they're going to take that guy because they don't have to do the work. It takes a long time to do a security clearance, and it's expensive. So I can't fault them for that. So I always try to do remote. That's my son. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say last 3 days. Anything past 3 days, generally. Oh, there's a lot more today. Okay. There were 3 yesterday. So there's a lot more today, but data center technician, end user computing. See, other jobs you might like. So these are not even. And some jobs like this, when I see 84,000 a year for end user computing, unless it's like system admin stuff, I always think scam. I always think scam like this. Temporary help desk engineer, $45 an hour. $45 an hour. And I think if you do the calculator on that, let's take the lowest, right? That's your salary per day. 1,600, right? Let's say they have you for I don't know. That's per month. Let's say 6 months. that right? So that's $38,000 in 6 months times two if they keep you for, so about $80,000 for, I don't know, mobile device management, enrollment compliance. So this seems like tier 2 at least. This might be legit. It says Forbes, so it could be legit. It is temporary though, right? Is it temporary? Yeah, temporary help desk engineer. So you're gonna move up there for what? For a temporary job. That could be like a month. This is probably real, so I might apply for this one. So I'll apply for some of these. So it's going. It's just, it's going slow. I'm really working on my game. I'm hoping to do a Kickstarter for it. This is the I traded in tiled for this, so you can get like a sneak peek of the game. This is the 2D map. So I have the Trenton map that was drawn in, well, at that time period, and I'm filling it in, as you can see here. So I put in houses. I actually put trees. So this is what they drew. So I'm assuming it's a tree. I got to put like couple more trees here. There's a road here I have to pass. So like, I got to change that. I forgot what the width was. I have to figure out what my width was. But basically, like, go over the hexes that I wanted to go over. Something like that. And it's not doing it right. I don't know. I got to change the, it was this way, that's why. So something like minus this part. But yeah, so, I added the road out of town. I added the houses, the road here. I still got to do this part down here, and then I gotta paint the this here, and then generally what the prototype is going to be is I'm gonna have Washington and then another column here. I have to do a lot of history work to see. I want to put in who's at the front of the line, and I have to put in stats like morale, look up like Lee, put Lee up against Sullivan, things like that. So I'm going to put those things in. I have to create the, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make, actually I'll probably put a poll out there, but I was thinking of making like almost like a card, like a blue card, about like, what can I use? Paint. So I was thinking of doing like a blue card, like this. Don't judge me too much. It's just, Microsoft, right? And then I'm gonna have green, right? And so I'm gonna start off with something like this, and I'm gonna look at a lot of board games, a lot of computer games. I want like details of the units, like morale, health, organization, and then something that you can quickly see green and judge how good they are. So maybe maybe something like that in terms of skill. And of course, when you click on the units on the UI, I already have the UI for the tactical kind of set up. If you love Civil War Generals 2, you're gonna love the UI. It's like this, right? And then you have the morale, health, organization. You have the charge button here. I added a couple extra buttons here. And then there's going to be specific like loyalty. I don't know about loyalty. There's going to be a tactical. There's going to be a leadership. And then there's another one that I'm doing. I have to go over it. But, yeah, so you're going to have that on this map, right? And then you're going to have, I think it's 2 columns that comes into Trenton. And there's a shack here I think I have to build. And I think another shack here. I have to check it out. But I'm trying to get as authentic as possible. Like I'm building trees, like, and this is just the prototype. So you can imagine when I'm starting to build the full game, like all these little things that whoever designed this map in 1776 drew, I am doing. Like I'm putting. He wrote, there's a tree there, there's a tree there, there's a tree there, tree there. So I'm putting trees where there's supposed to be trees. So I'm going to try to make it as authentic as possible. I'm even looking for better houses that suit Trenton. So, yeah, it's going to be a really work of art. But there's a lot of work to do. I have to finish this. Then I have to put in a lot of game logic. So I might just... yeah, and then what I'm going to do for the Kickstarter is, in essence, there's going to be tiers, obviously, right, for Kickstarter. But this prototype is going to be working. So in essence, you're going to be paying for a mini game, in essence. You're going to be able to fire and attack the Hessians and all that. So you're going to actually have like a mini game of the actual game. There's a video on my channel for what the actual full game is going to be. It's going to be a strategic and tactical layer. And the way it's going to be is it's going to be something like this. So you're going to click a button. It's going to come into this view where you have a hex. The hexes are going to look better too, right? They're going to be more so you can, see it better. Maybe I'll go up to like, I don't know, to 30. I don't know, 66, something like that, maybe a little further out. And then you'll have your whole army here, right? And let's say you fight the Hessians, right? You fight them here, you beat them, and they're en route, and they're going off. They're going here. Now, as you move here, right, the computer in the background is going to fill out these hexes, right? This is not going to be Trenton map, Princeton map. No, it's going to be one continuous map. These roads are going to lead to Princeton. And the way I kind of did the logic on it and the memory compression and all that stuff kind of thing I looked at was that the enemy is going to retreat. As you move the map, it's going to generate the hexes above. It's going to generate those hexes, get rid of the hexes on the bottom, right? But let's say the enemy is en route and you know there's a British Army north. And instead of like constantly, clicking and dragging, you can go like, there's going to be two zoom levels. So you can go to, you can go to like 15%. And then you'll see like Princeton here, and you'll see like New York right here, and then you can click on Washington's army and just click on Trenton and then have them move along this road. It's similar to Grand Tactician. So that's what I'm building the logic. All that stuff is going to be what will be. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I will catch you guys in the next one, and see you then.